Aloha headsets, Frank here, and it is review time, baby. Now today we are looking at a game I have been anticipating for months. The award-winning VR first-person shooter, Raw Data from Survios. Now, this baby has been out on PC for about a year already, and it has finally made its way to our PlayStation VR. But does it live up to the hype? Is it hold water compared to the PC version? And is it any fun? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy the review.
Soon, man's ultimate tool will become the ultimate enemy.
Operating in the shadow of Eden Tower, the Resistance Movement Syndicate has been utilizing its most skilled hackers to break into Eden Corp's mainframe and unearth these sinister secrets. But to get to the full truth, they must go straight to the source. That's where you come in. As one of Syndicate's most elite operatives, you must head into the heart of Eden and recover as much raw data as possible. The story is actually pretty solid, but it's mostly just told through some in-game voiceovers and data files you collect after each mission. I won't spoil anything for you, but just so you know, it's more than just a means to the end, and I actually enjoyed the narrative. Audio. The audio for this game is spot on. I can hear when lasers are whizzing past me, and the soundtrack keeps me wrapped up in the gameplay. My only gripe is that at times the sound effects drown out the narration, which could take a little fiddling with the settings, but all in all, the sound design team did a fantastic job at creating a truly immersive 3D audio. Visuals. Sadly, this is where the game takes a pretty big hit coming over from the PC version. I could immediately tell the textures were much more pixelated and nothing really has that smooth feeling. Text is a bit difficult to read and the world isn't really as cohesive as you would want it to be. Kinda feels like a bunch of assets moving towards you at times rather than actual parts of the in-game world. I'm not saying this is an ugly game whatsoever, quite the contrary. They have just got so much going on in so many of the scenes that I can only guess how hard it must be to render everything crisp. Also, I do need to mention that although I'm playing on a PS4 Pro, as of writing this review, the Pro patch is not available and it is said to increase resolution, so we'll see. Now, luckily, none of that really matters because the gameplay more than makes up for any visual downfalls. Gameplay. Okay, so first off the numbers. There were 10 missions, 4 difficulty levels, and 4 different characters to choose from. Each of those characters has a base weapon and ability that you will upgrade as you move along through the missions. Now, a lot of people are gonna say this is just another wave-based shooter, but it's so much more than that. Sure, most of the missions have you either destroying waves of enemies or protecting something while destroying waves of enemies, but it's more used as a means to break up the action and allow for some strategization before the next wave. You can go in guns blazing as Bishop. You can enter with Fist of Fury as Boss, you can sneakily slice your way through enemy defenses as Saija, or you can pick off your foes from a distance as Elder. Each character offers a completely unique playstyle, and you have to play around with all of them to unlock everything they have to offer. Now, on top of all the weapons and abilities, you also have the option to build and place turrets around the battlefield, and as you reach tougher missions, a well-placed turret can mean life or death. Although, regardless, death will come. This game is not easy, which I personally see as a good thing, and I was only playing on standard difficulty. I died tons of times, whether I was blown up by a rogue robot, tossed off the map by a giant robo monster. I learned my lesson and came back with a new strategy, and once you complete each mission, you're given a bit of story info and normally a new upgrade. The controls are pretty intuitive, and although they do offer a full locomotion mode, I still prefer to teleport around a little bit. Full loco is achieved by pressing a move button on your offhand and aiming the controller where you want to go. It works pretty well, but is better for tight adjustments rather than covering large distances. The weapons feel fantastic and the tracking is phenomenal. They also offer tutorials for nearly every gameplay mechanic, so if you're nervous you get overwhelmed, don't be. You can also choose whether you would rather play left or right-handed, and I've heard the game is wonderful seated as well. Issues. One thing I do wish they implemented was a smooth rotation option. Everything is click turn, which I'm fine with, and I understand the implementation. I just wish there was an option. I also had a few times where I could step back a little too far and it would tell me I was out of the play area. And there seems to be an issue with choosing left-handed from the start, but other than that, I'm happy to report that Survios did a phenomenal job porting over raw data. Although, I really would love to see some co-op or PvP implementation. Value. So this one is priced on the moderately higher side for VR games, coming in at $40. Now, if you grabbed it launch week, you got a 25% discount, dropping the game down to only $30, making it much easier decision. But at full price, things get a little more gray. The same price as the PC version, which now features co-op gameplay and a PvP mode, and although those weren't there at launch, they are now, with no real word on whether or not we will see them in the future. Now, all that aside, I gotta say that bouncing back laser shots with my cyber sword is worth every penny. Verdict. Graphically and content-wise, it may be a little watered down compared to the PC version, but luckily all that is made up for by retaining that same fantastic gameplay that has earned it numerous accolades over the past year. So, if you've been itching for a shooter that will wrap you up in a story and your headset cord, then Raw Data is the game you've been missing.
Raw Data. Start the download and survive.